Well, welcome. Here we are in another heart-to-heart conversation. My name is Jasmine Silva, and I am part of the Counseling of El Paso team. I'm a provider here, and we are so grateful to be here. We're going to take a moment to introduce ourselves to the community. Mhm.
Right, my name is Guillermo Castañeda. I'm a licensed professional counselor here at Counseling of El Paso. I'm the director.
My name is sorry.
Go ahead.
So my name is Elda Step. I'm also a licensed professional counselor here at Counseling of El Paso. I'm licensed both here in Texas and in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Guillermo Castañeda Senior. I'm hypnotherapist, psychologist in Mexico, here at USA Hypnotherapist. I'm working for Counseling of El Paso.
All right, so let me go ahead and introduce a little bit for today's presentation for this heart-to-heart conversation. We're going to be talking about hope and why hope matters, why it's important. And one of the things that we want to share is that this doesn't replace any form of counseling or consultation. If you believe you would benefit from counseling or somebody else, by all means, we suggest and recommend consulting with somebody professionally in a more private setting. Any comments or anything that is shared here, please keep in mind that it is public. And the purpose of this is really to bring awareness and be a form of an educational platform for in this case the concept of hope and why it would be important, especially when we're addressing mental health and emotional wellness.
So I would add a little bit to that. If you want to make it a little bit more interactive, go ahead and participate over here on Facebook. We will read your comments. If you have any comments, questions, or anything that you would like for us to add, by all means, please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And, we are going to talk about hope. And the reason why we're talking about it now is because it's been a year now since the COVID-19, the pandemic hit the US, and we've been having this series of conversations ever since, and I think that one of the common themes has been, well, let's be careful, let's be very wary of what's going on, but it's also good to not only see the negative part of what's going on, but also the positive part. 21% of the population here in El Paso has gotten vaccinated. Things are going to start opening up very soon. Life is going to come back to normality, not very far away from now. And so it's good to have this shift in our mindset, and hope is the last thing that dies. So we're going to be giving this presentation so that hopefully we can instill some of the hope in the viewers that are here.
That's right. And with that in mind, we also want to normalize and validate that everyone might be in a different place. That even the idea of hope might feel like it's far-fetched, or it's not, where it's too distant from us. And we understand that a lot of us have been experiencing a lot of grief, a lot of changes that have been hard to adjust, that there's been a lot of experiences and circumstances that have been definitely testing of our resilience and just our ability to overcome some of these challenges. And we realize and we understand that for everyone, this might look and feel very differently, and that's okay. So, really, today, it's really about just setting an invitation to the possibility of having hope as something that can cultivate even more resilience within us. So if you feel that you are in a different place, that's okay, because we go through different stages and we are in different circumstances. Everyone's story is very different. So there's no right or wrong answer to how you feel. And basically, we're just inviting the community to consider this as a possibility. Mhm.
However, in order to win over the lack of hope, it is very, very important to understand that we have, as human beings, a capacity, a very great capacity. This is named resilience. Resilience is a capacity to overcome the situations. It's a capacity to have front to the circumstances. For a resilient person, it doesn't have a hard life. It's just hard moments, and the person can win over the circumstances. The resilience is not with us when we born. It is possible to win, to get the resilience. All depends of our life, of also of our attitude. It is very important. We can develop resilience in any time of our life. It's just attitude. Well, that means what characteristics needs to have a resilient person. We need to be conscious of our limitations, but mainly of our capacities. It is necessary to be creative, creative as a person. We need to have more confidence in our capacities. It means a self-esteem, a big self-esteem. We need to learn, because some person says, I don't want to learn nothing. I'm resilient. Probably, but it is necessary to have the capacity to learn, to be in the moment, to live the moment, not the future. The future, it's just a desire, it's just a dream. The past, it's passed away. But we need to learn to live the moment, ser more objectives, not fantasize. It's to be more objectives. Also very important, it's to have around us positive persons. It's not easy. It's not easy, but we need to have positive persons and not take control of all situations. We are not God. We are just human being. Okay? And we need to be flexible also. We need to live the change, to learn to live the change, and we need to have good humor, because we need to learn to smile, to love, and to love also. That's my advice.
So when we're talking about the resilience, I think it's really important to also be able to talk about optimism. So it is part of the resilience. It is what also keeps us going. But we need to understand where that optimism is coming from. Um, our brain, we have what's called the brain wiring. So this is the way our brain usually does things, or usually our brain usually reacts. So it's like little pathways in the brain that are ever changing. Our brain, and this is one of the things that I will say from the when Guillermo was talking about the resilience, when we learn, our brain also learns. Our brain also changes, and it's something that's ever happened. So it is going to happen until we die. I know that before the neuroplasticity was discovered, that they actually said, well, at a certain point, your brain just goes downhill, and that's it. And that was kind of horrible to hear about it before. But now we hear like this is something you can change. So if you weren't very optimistic before, you can learn how to be optimistic. If you weren't resilient before, you can learn how to be resilient. And I know that in a year, a lot of things happen. A lot of things can actually keep us from being optimistic. As Jazz was saying, we were talking about the grief and the losses that we've had, the loss of actually being able to leave the house and go places, of having the entertainment, of having access to health, of having a lot of access to family. And when we realize that one after another, one loss after another, it can bring us down into this pessimism of this is just not going to go away. Things are not going to be the same. And so it's okay to say, what can we do to actually change it? It's a little bit different to change it because our brain is usually wired to think of the negative more than the positive. It's Our brain is wired to survive, not to thrive. So if it's in the survival mode, it's not going to easily let us think of the good things that are happening at the moment. Seeing, for example, what I was saying before, we have 21% of the population that are being vaccinated. Um, we're doing very well. Uh, we're gonna get to that percentage where everything's just going to open up, and we're going to be going to places without a mask. We're going to see family and not have to worry about any virus or anything like that. So it's really, really, really important to start noticing what can we do to actually change it. The first step is to actually relabel. So Jazz was kind of talking about the relabeling that we need to do. First, we need to validate. This is what I have. This is what I'm thinking. What emotion is going through me? What am I thinking while I'm going through this emotion? If I feel sad one day, realizing I feel sad. If I feel angry, you know what? I'm feeling angry, and that's all right. It's okay for us to have all these emotions. But when we have that, we also need to start reframing. So what are the evidence that's leading to my emotions? For example, I feel sad that I'm not going to be able to have to be with my friends ever again, because remember, the brain will actually go to a little bit of extremes. So I feel sad that I'm not going to see my friends again. And I need to ask myself the question, well, what's the evidence that I'm not going to see my friends again? Well, there's really no evidence. In fact, now I can reframe it because now I can see, well, people are getting vaccinated. I got vaccinated, or you know what? I have an appointment to get vaccinated. Maybe I'm going to be able to see my friends. Maybe I'm going to be able to get together once they're vaccinated. Hey, maybe this person doesn't want to get vaccinated, and which is okay, by the way. I'm not, there's nothing wrong. Everybody has a different point of view. But then I can say like, hey, you know what? Maybe once that percentage hits and everybody gets through a herd immunity, I'm going to be able to get together with them. Everybody's going to be able to enjoy the movies, restaurants, going out and going to work without having to do this. So just reframing and just being able to think a little bit more optimistic about it. Is it easy? Maybe for some people it will be easier than for others. Maybe for some people it won't. But I do have to trust that my brain does have that wiring. And the more I actually think more of those positive thoughts, my brain will actually rewire and change for that. It's called neurons that fire together, stay together. So the more that I think positive, my brain will actually shift to that positivity and that resilience that we were talking about.
So kind of, really stepping into that, I think that's really important that we look at, when how our brain works, especially when a big chaos happens. Because remember, this is not just, an international thing, it's a universal thing, right? The entire world experience these things, maybe some people more than others, and that's okay too, right? This is not about comparing ourselves or saying, what, this person is having it worse or I'm having it worse. Because remember, we go into a rabbit hole that we're going to find very hard to come out of, right? So this is where the positivity comes into place. And you think, well, what's so positive, right? We've been locked up for an entire year. We haven't seen our family members. And, now there's such a thing as another fourth wave, right? So it seems like everything's coming back to, more of the chaotic aspect. But this is where looking at your strengths is super important, right? And you think, well, what type of strengths? Well, think about it. Even the fact that you were able to get up this morning is a strength. The fact that you're able to be, going to work, whether it is remotely, whether it is, actually at the office, right? That's a strength, right? The fact that you're striving, that you're trying to survive, you're getting yourself up and you're doing things. These are all strengths, because a lot of times we misconstrue what strength is. Strengths, we think it's somebody of like Superman and Batman and all these wonderful Marvel and, DC superheroes. But it's actually being able to look at even the smallest things, right? The little changes, the little, efforts that you're putting in within your daily life to continue to push forward, to continue to go day by day, even if it is moment by moment. That's a strength, right? Everything that comes to that is going to change the brain from looking at everything as a chaotic situation to more of a positive. Think of everything that you learned within this year, right? Think of everything that you were able to obtain within this year, right? How did it make you grow? How did it make you stronger? How did it change you to a more positive individual, right? Even if you are experiencing these emotions such as sadness and anger and frustration, remember, all of these emotions make us human. Those are strengths too, right? Because it reminds us, I'm alive. I'm alive. And if I can feel anger and sadness and frustration, I can also feel happiness. I can also see the positivity within my life, right? The strength. Remember, you are a strong individual. The simple fact that you're listening to us today, right? There is that strength of, you know what? I want to change my ideology of negativity. That's a strength. And the more you look into these things, even the small things, the more you're going to come up with a bigger list of how strong you are. You're not having to be, Superman or Batman or, anything like that. And that's what's going to make you grow. And that's what's going to give you hope. And it's going to grow and it's going to continue to grow, right? And that's very, very crucial for you.
And as Elda and Guillermo and Memo are explaining, I want to invite you to see hope like the light perhaps at the end of the tunnel. So sometimes when we're going through challenging times, it can feel very, very dark. It can feel very, very overwhelming. And it can feel like, is there a way out? And hope is like that light at the end of the tunnel, or like your North Star that's guiding you. And one of the things that happens, as Elda was explaining too, and as we reframe and as we look at the strengths, it almost becomes like little lights that we get to add that help us continue even our journey throughout life in general too. One of the things that is very important about hope as well is that it really helps us when we reflect and we look at what are the ways or what are the lessons that we are gaining and learning from certain circumstances or situations. There, behind every circumstance or situation, there's something in store for us. There's a gift for us to be able to grow from, learn from, or even to recognize. So I do believe that this experience that we've had during the pandemic, it has also come with many gifts. There are individuals who've been able to spend more time with their loved ones, more time perhaps even doing inner reflection, becoming more clear with their life priorities, becoming more aware of what's really important, of who is really important for them in their lives. Some of them have been able to be reframed in opportunities to do other things that maybe they've been wanting to do, and before they had barriers. So this is something that is very important, to be able to pause and reflect and look within ourselves and notice and acknowledge what are the lessons that have emerged, and also what are the gifts that I have been bestowed with, whether they were very easy to find or maybe they were kind of packaged a little bit rough, but at the end we were able to kind of see, okay, this is the gift, this is a lesson. And why would that matter? Because those gifts, those lessons, nothing and nobody can take away from us, because that really builds internal locus of control. Whenever we realize, okay, this is within me, and I became more resilient or more clear, more loving, more caring, more compassionate, or more knowledgeable, all of those things, that's yours. And that's what matters. We want to make sure that we also pause for a little bit and look inside and see what are the gifts that now I have developed or have been bestowed with, or how I have learned and grown from some of the adverse experiences that we may have had through this pandemic. Mm-hmm.
Kind of adding to that, right? We kind of talked about how to instill hope and, normalizing, strengthening, right? The resiliency and all that stuff. Another important aspect of everything, especially when we're trying to instill hope, is being grateful, right? Even though we've experienced a big loss, right? Think about it. We lost, what we would have never thought we would ever lose, which was, our freedom, our ability to go out, our, hanging out with friends, hanging out with family, so on and so forth, right? Now we had to be very conscious. We had to be very cautious of everything that we were doing, right? But being able to turn back and say, okay, what do I have, right? Even if it's small, what do I have? That's important to be grateful for, right? Being able to say, I'm grateful for, being able to wake up another day. I'm grateful for, maybe not even getting sick, right? I'm grateful that now the vaccine is coming through, right? Whether or not you want to take the vaccine or not, being able to look at it, I'm grateful for the 21% that did take it, right? Because now compared to before when it was completely zero, right? Even before the vaccine, so on and so forth, now it's there. Now there's that hope, and being able to look at it as, I appreciate this. I am grateful, right? I'm thankful. And this is what's going to really enhance the resiliency, really enhance the strengths that you have, right? And really change those brain waves into something that's more positive compared to just looking at always the negative. And remember, everything is just interconnected in one way or another, especially when we're talking about hope. Because if we are only looking at one thing as an individual thing, we're kind of forgetting everything else that comes with it. And it's important to be able to say, okay, all of this is connected, right? Everything that I have, everything that I may not have, right? All of that has made us strong, has made us resilient, and it's something to be grateful for.
I think one of the things that we also need to start looking at is that one way to build up the hope is also what can we manifest from our thoughts. And before manifestation, we need to start to dream. And so it's really important to kind of visualize, what is it that I'm looking forward to? And in order to actually dream, I think that it's really important to understand what is it that where were we at before. So if I can see myself again, and I'll use like a personal example, concerts. So I used to enjoy concerts. Well, maybe now I can start visualizing myself in a concert and just dreaming of that, of what it will be like to step outside again into that moment, and really closing my eyes and just visualizing myself there, dreaming of what can be. That's really important to build a hope. And so I know that Guillermo would also have something to add to this, because he talks wonderfully about that dream building.
Okay, it's very important, as says Guillermo Jr. It's very important to dream. It's very important to build a dream. But to build a dream, it's necessary before have a big knowledge of yourself. Who are you? Who are you? What are your capacities? What are your lack of capacities also, in order to make them grow. I invite you, close your eyes, please, for a few moments. Close your eyes. You can hear my voice.
Please do not operate heavy machinery or drive while completing this guided meditation exercise.
If you're driving, please do not do this. You keep driving. If you are doing something, please pay attention.
Well, if they have a Tesla, it's okay.
Oh.
Just close your eyes for a moment and start imagining just yourself. Who are yourself? Who are you? Make an image of yourself as you remember in your mirror. Who are yourself? What are you looking for? Please think in your future. What do you want to do in the future? Build a dream. Build a dream. Your home, yourself, your family, your car, your clothes. What are you looking for? What make you happier than now? What are you expecting of the future? What capacities need you to learn, to grow, to win in the life that you're looking for? Close your eyes. Just dream. Dream also looking for freedom, freedom of thinking, freedom of bad feelings, freedom of bad thoughts. Just think about good thoughts. Just good thoughts. Be optimistic. Be optimistic because you can. It's necessary to believe you can. You can get your dreams. Deep breath. Breath deep. Deep breath. And now start touching your dream, sniffing your dream, looking your dream, hearing your dream, making your dream just for you, just for you. And you can find the necessary strength to get your dream. Breathe deep, and I will count 1 to 5. When I say 5, you can open your eyes. Your life will be different. Your perspective will be different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now, how's your life?
Pretty good. At least so far. Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. We want to thank you so much to the community. Please share this with individuals who you may feel like a calling that they may benefit from this, to be able to maybe just have a different perspective, possibly. If you'd like to, if you feel like, you know what, I'd like to maybe schedule an appointment or, be seen by any one of us, you can call our office at Counseling of El Paso, 915-209-1234, or you can always visit our website for more information as well. I know that that we're here, and we want to thank you so much again. We want to express our gratitude and appreciation for participating in this conversation today as well.
Yeah. Just to add to that, I think that it's really important to notice that we don't have to work on everything by ourselves. In here, we have professionals that we can work with you to get that, to help that hope come out, to get that resiliency, to get that optimism out. That's inside of you. So, like Jazz said, just make an appointment. 915-209-1234, or counselingofelpaso.com if you would like to have more information. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for sharing, and we will see you later.